Well, today's episode of Value My Toy Collection is a little lengthy because we're going to value some Shirt Tails, some Get Along Gang, some Snorks, some Trolls, and some Winx dolls. And I can't believe how much these Winx dolls are worth. Hey everyone, my name's Chris. I'm a full-time beauty pageant director as my career, but in my spare time, I'm a huge toy collector. I've been collecting toys now for over 40 years. You can officially call me a toyaholic. Thanks so much for checking out my YouTube channel. My channel consists mainly of two things: beauty pageants, which I love, and toys, which I love even more. My dream in life has always been to own a toy museum. So it's finally happened. I've bought a building, and now I've got to move this massive collection and value it into the building. We're calling it the Toy Vault because it's an old bank building located in Crystal Springs, Mississippi that actually has two large vaults. So now I'm just going to make a ton of videos and value my toy collection, and then I'm going to make some where I take you shopping with me to thrift stores and flea markets and toy stores to let you see where I find all these goodies. So let's start this episode of Value My Toy Collection and value some toys. Well, let's jump right in and start valuing some toys. We're going to start with these vintage little toys called Smackups, and they're pretty clever here. And I do have the whole set of 12, so let's see who they are. This one's called Patty Plate Glass. And then we have Carrie Car Door. This one's Ronnie Roadkill. Rich Stitched. And then this one is Sammy Stop Sign. Tony Traffic Cone. They kind of remind me of Garbage Pail Kids. And there's the back of a package with all of them pictured. Skateboard Smackups. And then we have Tammy Tailpipe. And Wally Wallbanger. And then we have Timmy Tire Track. Lois Low Branch. Amy Asphalt. And Betty Bumpers. And the shelf is worth about $5, and the characters are worth about $12 each. Then we have some Wallace and Gromit figures. The Wallace figure is still in the package, is worth about $40. Now, I haven't seen that show, but I really want to see that because those characters are super cute. The Gromit figure, he's worth about $40. And then we have Victor Quartermain. He's worth about $35. I just need to take that sticker off the front of his face. Who would do that? And then the girl, her name's Lady Toddington, and she's worth about $35. And then Macintosh the policeman, he's worth about $30. And that's all the figures on the back. I actually don't have the whole set, which surprises me because usually it drives me crazy if I don't have a complete set of something. But I have the main character, so I'll be happy. Then we have like these 5-pack of figures. They're a little more valuable. They're worth $58 for this little package. You never know what collectibles are gonna, or what toys are really gonna be collectible one day, I should say. But toys are they usually increase in value. Here's another packet. This is one of them's a cauliflower set, one's the carrot set, and they're both worth $58 each. And then we have the Weir Rabbit, and he's worth $95. He's pretty large and in charge. All right, we've got a big old shelf here of some trolls. We'll try to go through these pretty fast. All right, this plush troll from 1992 is worth about $12. And then we have a vintage Barbie troll. She's worth about $15. And then we have these Babyface Applause trolls from 1991. They have more of a baby face to me than a troll face, and they're worth $6 each. And then these regular trolls, I just priced them about $3. A lot of these mini ones and a pin that are worth about $15. I'm not going to show all those. Now this one is a Norfin troll, and she's worth $20 with a tag on. She's kind of collectible. It's another one of the little $3 trolls. And the Indian troll from 1991, if I can pick it up, it's worth about $12. Another small baby face one worth about $6. And a larger baby face one that's a blonde little girl with real clothes on worth about $12. And then we have these in the box. They're pretty cool, and they're worth about $20 each. We have 2 in the box. And then they came up with putting trolls in different vehicles. This one in the fire truck's worth about $15. And this one in the construction vehicle is worth about $15 as well. And then we have this little Christmas one. She's super cute. She's worth about $12. And then there's another one of our $3 ones with a little jewel in the stomach. It's another small one worth about $3. And another one worth about $3. And this is another one of those little bitty ones I was telling you about. We just grouped them all for $15. This one with the clothes is worth about $12. And then a bunch of these little smaller ones are also worth about $3 each. They could be worth more than that, but I think that's fair. It's another one of our smaller ones. It's another $3 one. We just got tons of these. Little pageant winner one. She's worth about $12. She has a little crown somewhere I've got to find. And then this one with the clothes, like a cave woman. She's worth about $12. Still has her shark tooth necklace on. Here's another small one for $3. Another tiny one for $3. And then another tiny one for $3. And then this one's Sweet 16, worth about $12 with the clothes on. And there's the crown that goes to the pageant one. This one's worth about $12. Whenever they're bigger with clothes, I say $12. That one's probably a $3 one. And then that one's probably worth about $15. And then this little patchwork baby doll one's worth about $10. And then another baby face one worth $6. And these big baby dolls, they're worth about $15. And then here's a medium one. It's worth about $6 or $5. The little Easter one, he's worth about $12. And the lucky one is worth about $15. And then some more. A small one worth $3. I got a ton of these things. Another small one worth about $3. And another small one worth about $3. This one's cute. It's Age to Perfection. He's worth about $12. Need to make his hair look trolly again. This one's worth about $5. It's a little bit bigger. And this one's worth about $5. It's another big baby doll one worth about $15. Another little one. Oh, he's cute. He's worth about $12. And then this one's worth about $12. And that one's worth about $3. Another one worth about $3. And then these little rings that go with our small package. There's Daisy asleep over there. And then that pin, I did with a lot of all the little ones in the pin, worth about $15 for everything. This one's worth about $3. This one's worth about $12 with the clothes on. Another one worth about $3. And this one dressed as a little chicken's worth about $12. And then another big one's worth about $15. And another big one worth about $15. I don't even remember where all these came from. Probably garage sales. That one's worth $3, the small one. And then this little plush one's worth about $10. And then these little dinosaurs, they're worth about $15 each. We have two of those, and they're really cute. They're a little bit harder to find as well. And then we've got this big bucket of troll, a bag of trolls. It's worth about $25. It's just full of them, and it came that way. I never opened it. So that's most of our troll stuff. And then hiding back here, this is from actually My Little Pony. It's a carrying case worth about $20. And then here's one more up here with a bikini and glasses. She's worth about $15. And then this little troll car is worth about $12. And then behind the trolls, we had a lot of books. This is a Dr. Seuss set of 5 books, still new, worth $20. Have an old Jack and the Beanstalk book worth about $5. And then we have a ton of these Disney books. I think I got these for $1 each, or the whole stack for $10 or something at a garage sale. And we have 23 of these books, and they're worth about $3 each. So that's about $69. We can go ahead and add to our grand total at the end of the video. You see how things just add up? You wouldn't think you're going to have $1 million toy collection, but when you add up everything like $1 at a time, it'll get there before you know it. And I had a house full of toys, and I'm moving it all now to the toy museum. And I've been packing for over a year now already. It's very time consuming, but I have a lot of toys. And I'm hoping I get to keep most of them. I can find a spot in the museum for it. But who knows, I might end up having to sell some and just keep the best stuff. So we will see. My goal is to have the toy museum open in the spring of 2026. Fingers crossed. I found this little stack of finger puppets that are little monsters in my little safe I did earlier. And they're probably worth about $5 for the whole set. It's not a lot, but it's something. Have this little Watchamal from the 80s. It's worth about $12. I have a few toys from the Jake and the Neverland Pirates. This is Jake's telescope, and it's worth about $15. It's pretty cool. I must have picked that up at a garage sale. I really can't remember. All right, and then we have one of the Jake plush dolls. He's worth about $10. We have another Jake plush doll worth about $10. And then this is actually Santiago. He's worth about $3 loose. And then here he is in his little package worth about $10. And let's see what else we have up here. So much stuff. All right, we have Izzy in her package. She's worth about $20 like that. And then we have Jake in his package, also worth about $20 unopened. And then we have the Izzy plush doll. That's worth about $10. And then we have a few toys from JoJo's Circus. This is the Magic Circus Friends set. And there's 5 figures in this. And this unopened is worth about $40. And then we have the one with JoJo and the cannon and the lion. It's worth about $20 unopened. And that's what it looks like on the back. I did not collect all those. I must have got these on sale because I'm not that familiar with JoJo's Circus. We have a big JoJo's plush clown doll worth about $20. And then the smaller one is worth about $10. And we've got some puzzle place characters. This loose one, he's worth about $6 by himself. And then we have the pack of the 6, and they're worth $45 unopened. And then we have the set of the Peace Police, and they're worth about $45 unopened. And then we have this pack that I paid $2.99 for. Boys Are Smelly. It's worth $30 now. Now we're going to move to some Get Along Gang figures. We have the Beaver Bank worth about $15. Now this plush, The World's Greatest, it's not actually from the Get Along Gang, but it is from 1980. And it's worth about $15. I remember these. They were everywhere back then. Now you never see them. And then let's see. We have these Get Along Gang mugs. This is the porcupine mug. And these mugs are worth about $16 each. I don't know how I'm going to display everything in the toy museum, but I'm going to find a way. And it still has its original tag on it. It's a little beat up, the tag is, but the mug's in really good shape. Sorry, I got to put them down in the box so I don't break them, so get weird camera angles that way. This one's Montgomery Moose, and he's also worth about $16. And then we have the Dottie Dog. She's the little cheerleader. She's worth about $16. And then we have the little lamb over there. She's worth about $16 as well. And then we have a little ceramic Dottie the Dog figure worth about $10. And we have a dress-up Dottie the Dog doll worth about $15. Ceramic Montgomery Moose worth $12. And then a little PVC figure down here worth about $5. And then we have these really cute clip-ons, like you push the back of their shoulder blades and their hands will like reach out so you can clip them on things. And a lot of these still have their original tags on them. And they're worth at least $8 each. I think some of them with the tags are worth a little bit more than that. But I don't remember where I picked these up from. But I have almost the entire set. But we have 8 of these, and they're worth $8 each. So that's another $64 we can add to our overall grand total. Now, a couple of these at the end are duplicates, but I just don't want to get rid of them or sell them. I think what I'm going to do with some of my little duplicate stuff is just make a cool retro Christmas tree in the toy museum. All right, we have the Get Along Gang Clubhouse Caboose. That's worth about $40. It's full of little furniture and stuff. And then we have this book behind it that's worth about $6. And we have this little lamb bank with the she's sitting right next to a tree, and it's worth about $18. And then we have this little catalog here. It's worth about $10. It's always hard to open stuff when you're trying to film and do it all one-handed, but when you open this little catalog up, it shows all the different characters that they created in this series, which I haven't seen some of these, like the turtle and the rabbit and the fox. So, and the squirrel, I haven't seen her either, or the bear. So I guess I never will, but I have a pretty good collection of them, so I'm happy. And then when you flip it over on the other side, it shows you a lot of the different items you could buy. Like we have that clubhouse. It was from the 80s, I remember that. And we have Dottie the dog, little dress-up doll there. I had never seen this little soda shop before. And then it shows the larger characters. But that's a really good piece to have for collectors who are trying to collect the whole entire lot. All right, let's move along. We have another Get Along Gang book, and that book's worth about $5. And then we have this big plush, but she doesn't have all her clothes, so she's worth about $12. Now we're going to move on to the shirt tails. We have all 5 of the main stars of the shirt tails in the PVC figures, and they're worth about $6 each, so that's $30 for the whole set. And we have this little ceramic raccoon, lots of love raccoon, worth $14. A plush Rick, worth $10. And then we have 2 of the Bogey Monkey plush, one from Six Flags and a regular, and they're both worth $10 each. Then we have a large Bogey plush worth $20, a Pammy plush worth $10, and this big walrus from Shirt Tails, which I didn't even know there was a walrus. He's worth $20. And then next up, we have this little air piano. When you push it, the characters pop up. It's worth about $35. And this puzzle is probably worth about $5 because I might be missing a piece. I'm going to have to look around for that. I have another little Shirt Tails book, but it doesn't have the record, so it's probably only worth about $4. And then we have this really cool lunchbox with a thermos, and it's in really great shape, and it's worth about $30. Bogey Bowl is worth about $6. Now we're going to move on to our Snorks. This one blows my mind. This is Octi. They're a little pet octopus. He's worth $140. He went all the way up to $160 on eBay. He's so rare. Then we have the All-Star Snork. He's the yellow one, and he's worth about $20. And then we have the orange one. His name's Demi, and he's worth about $15. I love the Snorks. They're very cute, too. And then we have the girl. Her name's Casey Kelp, and she's worth about $25. She's a little bit larger, too. All right, let's see what else we have. All kinds of good stuff. We have their little catalog. It tells, like, the history of the Snorks, and I think it's worth about $10. It's pretty hard to find. I got that at a store right when they came out when I was a kid, I think. And let's see what all we have here. We have a wind-up Snork. I think you can put that in water. It's about $8. And then a wind-up Daphne, the purple one. She's worth about $12. And we have one more wind-up one in here somewhere. I know. Here he is. It's the All-Star, the yellow one. He's worth about $8. And then we have the PVC figures. The orange one, he is worth about $15. His name's Demi. The one playing the holding the baseball bat is worth about $15. And we have 2 of those. The one with the Walkman radio is also worth about $15. And the doctor one is worth about $15. Most of them are $15. The scuba diver is $15. But this one's a little more rare. The governor, he's worth about $30, maybe up to $40. And then this one, he's worth about $15. This one's $15. And then this one's also $15. That's not bad for little PVC figures. This one holding the bread, Casey, she's worth about $15. We already valued him. And then Daphne's worth about $15. And this puzzle is worth about $25. This little wall art we created is worth at least $5. And this little caddy you hang up behind your door, you can put all your goodies in, it's worth about $40. Now I've got some Evel Knievel dolls. This one in the red outfit, he's worth about $35. And then the girl, her name is Derry Daring, and she's worth about $50 with her helmet on. This is not the right motorcycle. This is just a knockoff, probably worth about $5. And then this is one of the Evel Knievel dolls in white. We have 2 of these. One's in the truck, and they're worth about $15 each. Motorcycle ramp is worth about $20. I just don't have the motorcycle. And the 1973 scramble van's worth about $50. Now let's move on to some fairy dolls. 2014, the Pirate Fairies. Periwinkle's worth $110. This one, Rosetta, $115. They're so rare and so collectible. They're really hard to find. And then we have the Tinkerbell. They call her Tink. She's worth about $50. I think they made a little bit more of her because she's the main character. And then we have, I think this is Zaria or Zarina, and she's worth about $60. And then we have a plush fairy worth about $15. We have the Infinity Tinkerbell. She's worth about $8. And then we have this little fairy with a clear wing. She's worth about $10. And now we have the Winx doll collection. Stella, I had no idea these were so valuable. This one is worth at least $350, and I paid $3.40 on clearance for her. She even sold for $400 on eBay on one listing. And these loose dolls are worth at least $20 each, probably more than that. And then the figures still in the package, they're worth about $13 each. And we have 3 of these, so that's another $39 we can add to our total. I'm just shocked that those original Winx dolls are worth so much. I had no idea. I might have to sell those for retirement one day. I have 2 more loose ones, and we'll say those are worth about $20 each. Sensational Magic Bloom dolls worth $125. This one's Musa. She's worth $300, and you see how cheap she was. It's crazy. And this is the most valuable, $625. I will definitely sell her one day. All right, we have some more here. This one is another Stella doll. And then we have a different version of Stella worth about $350. And then a Flora doll. You see I paid $4.50 for it on clearance, worth $200. And we have the Bloom doll from 2005 worth $250. The Stella doll in this series is worth $230. And then the Flora doll is worth $150. And then the other version of the Flora doll is worth $140. I'm just so shocked. These dolls are worth so much. And then we have this 4-pack of dolls, $450. Now, I'm not sure who this doll is, but she's beautiful, so I'm going to value her at about $20. This loose doll from the Tinkerbell line is probably worth about $12. All right, then we have 3 loose Winx dolls that have their wings and everything. So I think these are worth at least $50 each in this condition. So that's another $150. I'm so tempted to sell these since they're duplicates. I'll have to think about it. And then this Tinkerbell line, we have 3 dolls. This one's Rainy. She's worth about $60. And then Fira, she's worth about $60. And then the Tinkerbell herself is worth about $30. She's not as valuable. Then I went to McDonald's and got that Minecraft set. It was $12 for that food set, and I figure it's worth about $15 with the figure, and that's the one I wanted. This random Mandalorian figure is worth about $30. Well, in our previous 417 videos of value on my toy collection, our previous total was $1,031,771. Now, when we add this video of all this good stuff, those Winx dolls, Get Along Gang, Snorks, everything, we can add another $6,822 to our total. So that means for episode 418 of Value on My Toy Collection, our overall grand total now is $1,038,663. I've always wanted $1 million toy collection, so now I'm officially a toyonaire. But I'm not a millionaire. I've just been saving these toys all my life, going to thrift stores, flea markets, garage sales, toy stores, and looking online, and it's just accumulated to this big old total. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos as much as I am making them. I like to see what all I have and what it's actually worth. And I'm putting all the toys online on our Facebook page, and it's called the Toy Vault of Mississippi. So until our next video, guys, we will see you then.